All right, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the What the Flock podcast. It's a new podcast that we're going to be doing every week. It's going to be aviculture themed. We will have weeks where we do some other things that are separate from aviculture, such as exotics or whatever. But the main focus of the podcast is going to be on aviculture, parrots, soft bills, different birds in general, mostly centered around captive birds. Um, I'll let Sean get into a few topics that we will be talking about week to week.
Hey guys, so my name is Sean. I'm the owner of Birds by Us, and a couple of the things that we're going to be discussing in our podcast is going to be our birds' healths, their diets, illnesses. We're also going to be discussing about breeding and the pros and cons and things that can go wrong. Some of the cool features that our podcasts are going to have is that we're going to be having new guests every week, and the topics will vary week to week.
Yeah, and a little more in depth about the guests. Like every once in a while, we will have breeders come on here and just like they could share a little bit about themselves, their
Hmm.
experiences with raising birds and whatnot, and just pretty much we just want to have people be entertained and just tell them a little bit into our background about what we do, what they do. We'd even get some people that are involved with rescues on here, or
Hmm.
different specialties in the bird world, pretty much.
Yeah, so
And
today's sorry I cut you off, but today's
no, go ahead.
podcast is basically going to be a little background about what we do and what we specialize in and what we want to achieve by next year and our breeding stock. And we also want to teach the new beginners that are just getting into the birds um, about diets for the birds and how to take care of them and letting them know like that. These birds live. Some birds even live for years and years, and that these guys are not toys. So we want to teach people um, and give them this type of knowledge that we ourselves are learning and know, so like other people know what they're getting themselves into.
Right. And I just want to start out by saying we are younger aviculturists, which gives
Hmm.
you that new perspective on like a younger aviculturist that haven't really been doing this for a long time. Like we've only both been doing this a couple of years, so it gives us that young perspective. But like I said, as we go on week to week, we'll have older aviculturists and we'll get their opinions and perspective and whatnot on different things and talk about stuff like that. Now, like as we keep going, just talk about a little bit about our aviaries. Introduce ourselves today, being the main
Hmm.
focus of this podcast. Literally, just a little introduction of what we were doing, and yeah, an introduction of ourselves. So, my name is Heather
Yeah.
Salgarina. I am owner of Tog Hollow Farm and Aviary. I specialize in conures and mini macaws. I breed green cheeks, duskies, crimson bellied conures, half moons. Um, I breed white bellied caiques, Hans macaws, sun conures, and hoping to add a few new rarer species this year. I'd love to get into illagers. I'd love to get into golden conures. I'd love to get into red fronted macaws. Like that's my pretty much my goals for the next year. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much me. I'll turn it over to Sean now, so he could talk about his aviary.
Hey, so my name is Sean. I'm the owner of Birds by Us. I've been doing this for about a year and a half now. I've been around birds all my life, but um, professionally, like breeding license wise, I've been doing it for about a year and a half now. I personally specialize in cockatiels. I have multiple different color mutations, going from yellow cheeks to cream faces to pearls, pies, all the basic colors. I even have a couple different mutations of green cheeks. I have the sun conures. I have green cheeks, and I've just been getting into the larger parrots. I have a pair of double yellowhead Amazons. And my goal going on for next year is hopefully getting some babies out of my pair of Amazons. And also, I recently got into African Greys, so I'm trying to see if I can get something out of those. So yeah.
Yeah, and I apologize. I have a little green cheek in the background that's being a nut. But anyway, yeah, so like as the weeks go on, we'll get better at this. Obviously, like this is our first time recording a podcast, so like you got to bear with us. We're not like professionals or anything yet. So as the time goes on, things will get better, and as the weeks go by, um, things will be a lot smoother, I believe.
Yeah,
But
and also,
yeah,
sorry I cut you off. Also, for the new people that are watching this stuff and whatnot, just like what Heather had said, we're just beginning, and obviously as time goes on, we're gonna start getting more and more comfortable around doing this type of podcast related stuff. Her and I have been friends for about a good over a year now, I believe, right, Heather, or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, about a year.
Yeah, so we've been trying to get a podcast going for a little while now, and our goal is to, like I said, to let other people know about birds and what we do and whatnot. So if you guys have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, or something that you guys want us to get in depth about, we'd be more than welcome to do an episode on that as well.
Yeah, please feel free to like leave any comments or like, critiques even honestly on the podcast, cuz anything helps. And at this point, um like we are, since we're just starting, we're
Mhm.
obviously we're obviously have a lot to learn. And like as far as the podcast goes, and yeah, we pretty much just want to bring entertainment and more inclusivity into the bird world, because a lot of people are very keep to themselves. And there's there's no lack of drama in the bird world if you've been in the bird world.
Yeah.
So like we're trying to make it more friendly, and like have everybody get together, and even the people that wouldn't be like included in, wouldn't want to include themselves in a type of thing. We're trying to push people out of their comfort zone and get them to join this podcast, and just, be entertaining and bring some entertainment into the bird world for, like bird nerds like us to enjoy. Because I tell you what, like I could talk about birds for hours, but like somebody that wouldn't have birds wouldn't want to talk about birds for hours. So like this is like the perfect platform for everybody to just, you know, get on here and listen to this stuff, and be like, wow, yeah, this is like the crap I'm interested in, like, completely.
And another thing, just a disclaimer before going any forward with this podcast, I'd like to let you guys know that, some of the topics that we may talk about, we might have our own opinions on it. We're not forcing anybody to take our advice. You know, if you like whatever out of what we say, you're more than welcome to go ahead and try it. But everybody has their own opinions. Like, for example, Heather might have her own diet that she uses for her green cheeks, and I might have my own diet that I might use for my birds. So, people that might have experience with birds or whatnot, if you don't agree with something that we may have said, you're more than welcome to speak up and even give us a text. But people shouldn't get offended if something that we have said, something that we might try or do, they might not agree with.
Right.
We're going
And
by what we've tried.
and let me say, I'm constantly saying this because I do run quite a few groups.
Hmm.
I'm constantly just reiterating the fact that, like everything in aviculture isn't linear. Like almost everybody's gonna do things differently. There's not
Exactly.
one exact direct path that anybody has to take. And I'm constantly telling people that, and like people can have a difference of opinion and still, be friends. You know what I mean? So like in aviculture, if someone does something a different way, doesn't mean it's wrong. And that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. Not everybody's going to agree, but we're going to talk about how we do things our way, and the people that we have on here are going to talk about the way they do things. And obviously it's going to be a little different from, person to person, but that's completely okay, because there is literally not one way or one other way to do it over somebody else's.
Exactly.
um and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're going to be doing our 10-minute podcast for the most part, around 10 minutes every week. And yeah, that's going to conclude our podcast for today. So thank you for stopping by, and hope to see you next week.
Alrighty.